Hello, good morning. You're welcome to yet another edition of The Message from the Morning Man. Now, the story is told of a highly skilled gymnast in Canada who was an expert at tightrope walking. Many times he had walked a thin rope between the peaks of two very high mountains. Each performance attracted huge crowds who marveled at his poise, balance, skill, and prowess. One day, he decided to jazz up his act by adding a new element of danger. He would do the tightrope walk while pushing a wheelbarrow. The news went out and everybody looked forward with excitement and anticipation to his next event. Now, as the big day drew nearer, the gymnast started to get really nervous. Pushing a wheelbarrow would be dangerous. He wouldn't be able to stretch out his hands to maintain balance as the rope bounced about. What if he couldn't do it? What if he fell 100 feet to his death? The night before the big event, he went over to his best friend's house and confessed his fears. His friend reminded him of all the other times the gymnast had overcome great odds to achieve great things. His friend patted him on the back and said, "I believe in you, and I'm with you every step of the way." The gymnast started to feel confident again. "Thank you," he said to his friend. "So, since you have so much faith in me, would you like to sit in the wheelbarrow when I do the crossover tomorrow?" The friend held the gymnast by the shoulders, looked him in the eye and said, "Not a flaming chance in hell. Are you crazy?" My dear friend, there is a simple message here. Encouragement and praise is great. It can boost your ego, it can fuel your courage and increase your sense of self-worth. Having people around you who believe that you can make it actually increases your physical capacity to make it and reduces your fear and nerves and trepidation. But no matter how much faith people have in you, encouragement cannot do the job for you. After everyone has expressed their belief in your ability to move mountains, or in this case, push a wheelbarrow between them at a great height, you will still have to be the one who takes that first step. And every step after that, it's still on you. You still have to take all the encouragement, faith, prayers, and good wishes and use it as a fuel to actually move towards your goal. So what is it that everyone says you're so good at? How many people come up to you and tell you, "Oh, you ought to be on TV or on radio"? How often have people said to you that you ought to read law? How many times have people told you, "You can do it"? Well, it's all true. So when are you going to start doing it? My dear friends, let's seize our destinies, whether or not someone is with us on this. Because we came into this world alone, and we will leave it alone. So in the end, it's up to us whether we sink or swim. It's up to us. The player scores the goals, not the spectator. My name is Kojo Yankson, and they can talk me up the mountain, but only I can walk the tightrope. Good morning, Ghana.
Well, let's start the news this way with the related subject of the controversy on the voters register. And policy think tank Imani Africa is warning of massive chaos and disruption during the December 7 polls, show the Electoral Commission pushed through with its plans to create a new voters register. Imani argues that the introduction of a new biometric system anywhere in the world created massive problems at the start, indicating the 2012 elections recorded about 35% failure due to the introduction of the new biometric system. The Vice President of Imani Africa, Bright Simmons, is insisting procuring new biometric voter management system for the 2020 polls would as a result affect the integrity of the December polls.
The argument that the system is so old that if you try and refresh it, it will cost more is not true. In fact, if you try to refresh the existing system, you try and refurbish it, buy a few new ones, and take out only the ones that are truly broken, you will not spend more than $15 million. And if you tried and did a registration of only those who have turned 18, you will not spend more than $20 million. Why? It is very simple. You will register about 2 million new people. Anybody who will try and convince you that it doesn't cost more doesn't have any regard for the truth. End of story. And we'll move on and say, is it possible that the actions of the EC can now go beyond losing money and start to affect the quality of our elections? Some of you may say that is more important to me because democracy is expensive, so maybe we should just spend a little bit more and get better quality. In addition to cost, there's also risk, and particularly the risk that because of their actions, the elections you are going to have, not this year, secondly, the year after, may be far less quality and stable than what we've had before. It's the risk factor of newness, new things. New things tend to be more problematic. What do I mean by that? The existing system that we've had it for long enough that we've learned to use it very well. If you go and buy a new system and you don't install and implement it properly, you can create more problems. So our argument is that the risk of the new platform, re-registering everybody, is far more than using a system that has delivered so many elections since 2012. And our first piece of evidence, using the Observer data report, Imani has mined each and every one of those reports and studied reports about breakdowns in polling stations. And we find out in 2012, when we first implemented this biometric solution, 33% of polling stations had problems.
Health authorities in Ghana are reviewing measures put in place to monitor any incidents of coronavirus. Comes as Ghana's northern neighbor, Burkina Faso, registered its first case of the deadly disease on Monday. Well, out of the 3 countries sharing borders with Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire has recorded a case, Togo has recorded a case, and now Burkina Faso. Deputy Health Minister Alexander Aban is meanwhile urging the public not to panic over the confirmation of a COVID-19 case in neighboring Burkina Faso, explaining Ghana's health officials are on high alert.
The government is a concern to the Ministry of Health, and I believe it is the concern for every Ghanaian, because it sends a lot of shivers down the spine of everybody. So it's a concern to us. It's our prayer that we don't record a single case. But should that be, I believe that we have put in place enough measures to contain any outbreak or any incidence of that case, of that disease in the country. I would like to implore all Ghanaians to calm their nerves. Nobody should panic. We have put in place a lot of mechanisms to make sure that we immediately detect and contain any case that may occur. So we have had a series of meetings with the teaching hospitals, the regional hospitals, so that we would have proper designated areas for holding rooms and for treatment centers, which would completely be isolated from other operations of the various hospitals. So please, everybody should calm down.
Moving on, he was 31 when a speeding vehicle nearly ended his life whilst waiting by the roadside for a car. Daniel Kwame Adomakum, now 39, sustained various degrees of injuries in the process. He has since been telling Joy News how he spent the last 8 years fighting to survive.
39-year-old Daniel Kwame Adomakum, with inability to stand and walk on both lower limbs, was involved in a pedestrian vehicular accident following a knockdown by a vehicle while standing by the Techiman Kintampo Highway in December 2012.
Meya Juma or Tubodon magazine. Ma pon ajuma me be pet dropping abafi metetachiman. The men to be overtaking a baby bomb free baby meteno. The many bame hosono nameda G C2 na said the mema make a chile Edi be na otwe benu ansa na metemane.
He sustained moderate head injury with chronic headaches and sensorineural hearing loss, an open fracture of both left and right tibia, and a left knee injury.
doctor for no share me kakra because na kama wu anisa mani nyina tutu sensan ho mo pia ne nyina asese nti ekoba anisa no o mo hwe me ama me home isa ba me home na nan kase me nan kase na abubu kura ma doctor for no ayi bi afrim we ma yi bi afria ayi bi afria ana me bisa doctor for ne say adentina omo yi kase no ono so man yi me nan kase na ebe pro nto mo yi na o ma ye na de foforo.
He remained on admission at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital for several months, seeking for a surgery to fix the fractures, but could not continue treatment due to financial difficulties.
And no much me say bia metua sika by 70 million. I had 35 million, had 35 million. My sika no me say sanete there. Bra o ma bre me ho pa wo hospital ho no de o want to me san ya hwe kan me ho biam.
Well, we apologize for the horrid pictures, but they are for good reason. All of us to bring our minds and our eyes to the related subject about road crashes and their effect on economic life and generally impacting society. And it's for this reason that over the last 6 to 7 weeks, we have been undertaking this campaign, the Arrive Alive campaign. And we encourage you to give us more of your experiences by way of pictures or audios or videos as you tag us on Facebook, Joy News on TV, and relatedly through same name for our Twitter handle at Joy News on TV. And as you watch us live through My Joy Online TV on YouTube, which is our official channel, you will add the hashtag AM Show, the hashtag Joy News, the hashtag Arrive Alive. And if you're a service provider or you also are a parastatal working with a state agency and you work relatedly in either providing services or advocacy in road safety, you all need to come on board to make this a comprehensive issue. Our campaign, Arrive Alive. Now we have to move on and we'll focus on education, because the main basic school at Akwemufie in the Eastern region is said to be in a poor state. Authorities describe it as a facility threatening the safety of pupils there. According to the headmaster of the school, a leaking roof forces pupils to currently move to a nearby chapel whenever it rains. However, currently, a renowned American Ghanaian businesswoman, Bozoma Saint John Daniel, is coming to the aid of the school through her NGO, Pencils of Promise. Joy News PSC Nanaya Osafo has details on her initiative.
Pupils of Akwemufie Basic Primary School in the Eastern region singing praises to the non-profit organization Pencils of Promise. The outfit on Thursday cut sword for the construction of a 3-unit classroom block which will serve as a modern kindergarten facility in Akwemufie.
I came to Akwemufie almost 2 years ago. I was installed as the Odupama here in the region.
Bozoma St. John also serves as global ambassador for Pencils of Promise. She says the $50,000 project is only the beginning in an agenda to transform lives of native children.
I hope that the kids who are educated there will not just brighten this community, but also brighten Ghana and then Africa as a whole, and of course the world as a higher resort.
And there are many other people who are coming from the diaspora to assist, and we'll bring you more of such stories subsequently. But that'll be it, the latest news headlines we have. We have more news, though, as we review the newspapers. Myself and Mamavi Owusu Abuaje. Well, it's also the birthday of one of our own, Beryl Ernestina Richter, and I want to wish you the best of the day and say that God should richly enrich your life, always. Talking about it, she's a great young woman as well. And talking about women and men, there are related issues we've discussed here on the show about cervical cancer. And one of our ambassadors in Ghana is Mama Vio Sabwaji, who currently has now gotten the opportunity to work with the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. And I think that they'll find you very useful. And and a great advocate.
Are you building on my CV?
Yeah, and I think
Well,
that's a good
thank
thing you do
you.
for society. You're just telling me they approached you because of...
well, because we've been obviously involved in the cancer conversations. So I am a face of cervical cancer for the oncology department of the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital with our colleague who is on Adom TV, Efia Amankwa Tamaklo. So the two of us will join the oncology department. They've got some incredible lineup. You know, we've been doing the cervical cancer screening here in Accra last month, in the month of February, in the month of love. The Ridge Hospital, the Accra Regional Hospital, did a whole month-long free screening. So it's, you know, almost like a similar thing, but there's more to what's happening at Komfo Anokye, and we'll find time and talk about it. Definitely. Because it's not just the walk. So we have a walk on the 21st of March. And the theme is Service Your Cervix.
Service your cervix.
Exactly, service your cervix.
If you want to translate that to tree.
Well, we're not on Adom TV, so we don't have to do that. So we stick to service your cervix. That's the theme for the Komfo Anokye bits of the cervical cancer. It's a walk. So it's a walk, and then it would also continuing after the walk will be a number of screening in different centers. So that's why I said we have a full conversation. And then Komfo Anokye has also been selected. There's something going to happen in the Ashanti region that will also come up. Maybe I could just share a bit of it for you in the letter that they sent to me. So Kumasi has been selected by the Union for International Cancer Control, an affiliate body of the World Health Organization, as a cancer treatment city in Africa. And so this work that we will have will also outline the plans for the center that's going to be built in Kumasi. So congratulations to, you know, Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital and all the gentlemen and women at the oncology department. Well, thank you for the nomination to be the face of cervical cancer. So we'll be in Kumasi, God willing.
I love the way you've dressed today.
Yeah.
A true ambassador.
Come with me to Kumasi.
Yeah, anytime.
Come with me to Kumasi. So the people of Kumasi, watch out. If you're Amankwa Tamaklo and myself will be in Kumasi, God willing, the Saturday 21st of March for that walk, and we're all servicing our cervix. That's the theme. I like that very much.
Yes, servicing your cervix.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say good morning to all lecturers of KNUST, and especially my good friend and our good brother, Dr. Edward Brainer. Good morning to you as well. But you want to quickly look at the
I wanted to say good morning to Dr. Eric Addison, who's
Philip Addison's brother.
Oh, Roland, I don't know if there's a connection. He's the head of medical physicists at the Komfo Anokye, physicists at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital, exactly. And he's the chairman of the local planning committee for this work and this cervical cancer, exactly what I've been talking about. There will be more, particularly next week, which will be leading to the walk on Saturday. So let's concentrate now on the newspapers. I'll do the Finder, the Times, the Daily Graphic, the Daily Statesman, quite a bit. The Observer is here, the new publisher and the Ghanaian publisher. So let's begin with the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder, President suspends all official travels as an additional measure to prevent coronavirus. Dr. Awal urges Northern Ghana to give Nana Addo 4 more years. Calls for immediate fuel price reductions, misplaced, premature. That's according to the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Hassan Tampoli. Kweku Bako endorses Dr. Sibe Yeboah for new job in South. Now that's a seat to look out for. We talked about it. Roland and I discussed this because the CEO of the Free Zones Authority is also very much...
Yeah, he's one of the, I think, the other contestant or the main contestant alongside the incumbent.
Exactly.
Dr. Mark Sibe Yeboah.
Yeah.
And you know, prior to this, the observation that all of us picked up was that when, it's called Dr. Berfi also, Mr. Berfi, when he conducts, let's say, health screening, etc., or even health walk, or just a normal fitness walk, you remember there was an event that Kwesi Appiah went to in Koforidua or someplace like that. It was the one. And at that event, we had party executives National Party executive scoring. Now, the observation will be that it looks like his favorites, you know, etc. But now we're having a big.
Well, I guess the thing is when you sit in Accra, it's easy for you to think that you know who is probably leading or who is getting the hype and the vibe. Yeah, but you know,
we'll see how that goes, because one of the keenly contested seats we're looking at in our watch
in the primaries, absolutely,
the 25, the April 25 primary.
It's turning out to be a very interesting constituency, so we'll keep an eye on this place, New Jabbing South.
That place, we have Bantama, we also do have
Bantama as well. All right, let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Front page of the Times, introduction of a universal QR code, Ghana pushing towards cashless state, according to Vice President. Business Development Ministry announces 10 million Ghana cedis package for 10,000 youth in northern Ghana. Also, we will export $1 billion horticultural produce to EU market in 6 years, says the Agric Minister, who had his turn at the meets the press. COVID-19, President suspends foreign travels for public officials. Police gunned down 2 suspected armed robbers at Mankasim. This happened on Sunday. It was a shootout with the police at Mankasim in the central region. In the center spread of the paper, Ghana pushing towards cashless state. Details of that story and all the other headlines on the front page. So let's do the back page. Some sports. Oli Hart charged to set Accra alight. It's a clash to determine who emerges as the legitimate landlords of Accra. Hearts of Oak confronts local rivals, Great Olympics, in the local derby at the Accra Stadium, and it definitely will have to be Hearts of Oak. Yeah, I'm not sure I said that confidently though, because you know.
Yeah, but it looks like it should be Hearts of Oak, even though my friend Atu Coleman will disagree with you.
They can break your hearts. Also, Black Queens thrash Kenya 3-1 in Turkish Cup. But that brings to mind the latest move by the Kenyan authorities suspending travels for all athletes. They're not taking part in any competition going forward in Kenya. They haven't recorded a case of the COVID-19, but they're taking steps. I mean, like they're on really high alerts. So let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the Daily Graphic. President hails Graphic for living up to mandate. Tests COA FS efficacy over COVID-19. Manufacturer appeals to government. We'll see what that's all about on page 20. Don't leave Galamsey fighter politicians alone, Apostle Nyamiche tells Ghanaians. By the banner headline, President orders no travel for public officials, measure to prevent COVID-19. I've heard some critics say, in the meantime, people are traveling to other places and coming back in the country. The fact that our officials are not necessarily traveling does not mean that if somebody won't bring the virus into Ghana, they cannot, because it's still very much open in terms of the travels. We know there's a ban on travelers coming particularly from Wuhan, but in other places in Europe, Italy is the most dangerous in terms of how widely the virus has spread in Europe. Well, we still have flights coming from Italy, don't we?
But if we have to take into cognizance what happened over the last 24 hours in terms of the report, where junior health minister in the UK attended a number of events, and after that felt unwell, and then she tested positive. You can be in country, but you attend official functions or ceremonies because you interact with many people. You don't know how long they had traveled and from where they're coming from before you met. So that is why perhaps we want to put into perspective the president's directive, of course. It's coming from the chief of staff because she manages all the related issues of the presidency. But we have to put things into perspective. Look, we know that we have over nearly 3 million people traveling through the Kotoka International Airport over the last 12 months or a year before. That's the official figures of the travel throughput in and out. And they just, officials traveling just from a fraction, a minute fraction actually. So what is the general directive towards in and out travels in our country, both at the airport and then the seaport and the land ports. You know, we have to put all these into a bigger picture to say that if somebody takes a bus to Kumasi on a VIP or any of those long haul buses or even the shorter buses, so to speak, but meets a tourist who is coughing and obviously may have returned or come to Ghana not too long ago, what do we do?
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that you and I have fought over, but look.
We're not fighting over anything. I shared the angle of government, and I mentioned what some critics have said. So I don't know what we are fighting over. Are we fighting over anything here?
Let's not start it. So what are we looking at?
I'm looking at a bit of details of the story on page 20 about a test of, is it core FC efficacy over COVID-19? I thought a bit wouldn't be bad. So the manufacturer of an immune booster and viral load suppressor Center of Awareness has called on the government to assist with scientific confirmation of the potential of the supplement to suppress COVID-19 to boost national preparedness to prevent an outbreak of the disease in Ghana. It said certified by the Food and Drugs Authority, FS rather, which is currently undergoing further scientific investigation locally and internationally to establish its efficacy to cure the human immunodeficiency virus and other viruses, could also be a potential solution to COVID-19. All right, so I see a smart move because this has obviously become very topical for us to pay attention to something that is being developed that's going under testing. Absolutely, the world is looking for a cure. The world is looking for a solution to a virus that's spreading like wildfire. So why not? If there's something, you know, that's available here, which is going through the processes, if there's a way to speed it up so that we can actually test if it can be a real solution to this virus, I guess it deserves a lot of attention. So let's see how far this goes. Also, Cocoa Board supplies farmers with pruners. In the center spread of the paper, well, the Cocoa Board story is here, but also in the center spread is financial inclusion leads to stability. That's according to the Vice President. There's a graphic that goes with the story in the center spread, a graph rather, total volume of transactions, total value of transactions. It talks about the Vice President saying that recent research has established that advancing financial inclusion through electronic payments, deposit or insurance has positive effects on financial stability. The research jointly conducted by the IMF and the World Bank further suggested that ignoring the link between financial inclusion and financial stability could culminate in costly financial crisis and hold back growth. Also, Ghana rated high in food security. A 2019 Global Food Security Index has scored Ghana's agricultural flagship program, Planting for Food and Jobs, 100% for its ability to change the average cost of food. Back page, pressure mounts on OMCs to reduce fuel prices in the country. Well, the changes that is making people call for this include the continuous fall in the price of crude oil on the international market and the stability of the local currency against the US dollar. Transport owners, driver associations and think tanks within the industry under the umbrella body, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, argue that the silence over the matter by the OMCs was not the best. Using some numbers to back their call, they said, for instance, that between January and March 6 this year, gasoline prices are declined from $612 per ton to $496 per ton, while gas oil dipped from over $617 to the current $502 per ton. So you see the dates and the prices, which shows how the prices have fallen over the period, and that's a justification for the prices to be reduced when ordinarily you and I go to the pumps to buy fuel. So OMCs and BDCs must at all times ensure that local pump prices reflect the reality, as they always seem to do when prices point to increases in the spirit of fairness to the Ghanaian consumer and in a full-price, deregulated environment in practice currently. I tell you what, the silence doesn't help if you're not doing it and the prices are still the same because you want to use the extras for something you've got to communicate. I think that the silence doesn't help. I like the efforts that Mr. Duncan Amoah and COPEC is trying to put in this direction. All right, let's do the New Publisher newspaper. Front page of the New Publisher. MP's ghost chasers killer. Suspect says he was paid 200,000 Ghana cedis. That's the member of parliament, remember, then who was killed in his home. Well, that's an update of that court's appearance on page 6 in the New Publisher. See if I can share a bit with you. Also, government investing heavily in educational infrastructure, according to the president. And NDC government won't let Ghanaians down, according to former President Mahama. Minister smears Nana Addo with sticky Unipass Ghana Link deal. Simple questions Dr. Bawumia must answer on Ghana Link Unipass deal. If you've been following that story, you might want to check out what questions they have. But this story about MP's ghost-chasing killer, one of the two suspects held before the Accra High Court over the matter of J.B. Danko Edu yesterday, broke down in tears, saying he has not been able to sleep for some time now. Daniel Esielu said it was proven difficult to find sleep at night because the ghost of the slain former Abuakwa North MP keeps terrorizing him. He also begged the court presided over Justice Lydia Osei Mafo to discharge the other accused person, Vincent Bosu, aka Junior Agogo, singing. So the suspect, whose lawyer, Augustine Obuo, was not in court as at the time of the confession, disclosed that he was paid some 200,000 Ghana cedis as part payment for the murder of the former Abuakwa North Member of Parliament. He insisted that he was contracted by persons with political connections to kill the MP with a promise they would get him off the hook once they gain political power. He added, the persons have since abandoned him, and with his sleepless nights now turning into a burden, he has no option than to confess again. He further claimed that persons within the house opened the gates and allowed him into the house to carry out the act, disputing claims that he jumped the wall into the house to kill the MP. So a lot of the things that he had to say, one of the accused in court in the paper. Just real quick, just going to run through the rest of the headlines. The Daily Statesman, First Lady assists 180 women with startup working kits. No foreign travels. President directs appointees due to coronavirus scare. Reconciliation Committee, patriotism. John Boydu Lord's Ashanti NPP for successful voting. The Ghanaian publisher, Kweku Bako, endorses Sibe Yeboah, Chief of Staff hails Johnson Sirleaf as the pioneer of Africa's strong women. Government bringing Keta Port alive, according to Transport Minister. Akufo-Addo imposes travel ban on officials. The Ghanaian Observer. Government readies for COVID-19 crisis as Akufo-Addo suspends foreign travels for all public officials. Raging debate of the new voters register. PPP scribe jabs Imani boss. Sanitation groups urge government to attend to the cry of waste managers. Well, plenty more headlines, but Roland's got to take over.
Yeah, let's do the Custodian. Has on the front page, Ashanti MPP stops 9 MP aspirants, and this was contained in a memo from the party, and this just also has been further elaborated in the story. It says 12 females though, and 19 males go through. We have a number of individuals. Incumbent Isaac Kwame Siama of Atrimampunia also going unopposed. We have also Emmanuel Eje Anure, Etriman with Bieja South, I hope I pronounce it. And then we also do have Swami, and it's where we have the majority leaders, HMN Sabonsu, going unopposed. Minshia, Matthew Opoku Prempe. We also have George Oduro of New Edupiasi and a number of others. But Kwai also has Joe Osei going unopposed. Okay. There's some 2-horse races, though, in a number of them as well. Also on the front page of the Custodian has MPA boss jabs NDC over fuel prices. It has an attack picture of Hassan Tampoli the MPA boss. Beside it, we have Kweku Bako endorses Asibe Yaboa for new job in South. Yeah, if you have the endorsement of Kweku Bako, speaks volumes. Akufo-Addo bans foreign travels, also on the front page of the Custodian. Let's go to the Daily Guide. Last people before we look at myjournline.com. JB's goes chasing me, according to the suspects. And then we do have Ghana's food security improves. Front page of the Daily Guide. Judgment day for ex-NCA board members. President bans foreign travels over coronavirus.
You know, Gabon has also taken the same initiative.
There's been a case that's been recorded in the DRC.
That's the latest, yeah.
Let's go to the center spread. Goodies announces return to music, and according to this interaction, he had been involved in farming since he served some 13-year jail sentence and has been involved.
He actually didn't quite serve the 13. He got a reduced sentence.
Yeah, each sentence is always 9 months in the calendar year.
Yeah, but apart from that, he actually appealed that
and got a reduced
sentence. Got a reduced sentence,
okay.
yeah.
So you got a parole kind of?
No.
Okay. Reduced sentence. All right, so we move on. It says Goodies announces return to music after prison. And
he's been out for a long while now.
Since 2008.
Yeah, except that he's been quiet.
12 years ago.
I listened to that interview. I thought it was refreshing hearing him. So he's been into farming, but he says he's coming back into music production.
Yes. As a producer. He was a big producer of Nana Kwame, Lord Kenya.
Yeah, there was VIP.
Yes.
There was Miss Bell on that label as well. Goodies, I mean, I think for a very long time was like the biggest. And he had some African, you know, like international artists even on the label.
Yeah, Tony Tatula, Two-Face, and all of them had
He was huge.
Yes.
It was unbelievable when we heard that he had been arrested, involved in drugs. So
very unfortunate. All right, so we have to do, you have a number of cases you want to take a look at?
I wanted us to do myjournline.com if it's possible, or if we could just share some of the, particularly on the BBC. Well, we know that the health minister has tested. We're talking about the UK positive. You gave some details about that, but let's do myjournline.com. All right, so after the review, we'll bring you sports, and I guess one of the things that we'll be talking about, the Manchester City Arsenal game postponed as a precautionary measure. So coronavirus, you know, affecting a lot of sporting activities. So Gakope resident demand honorable resignation of DCU over murder of assemblyman. It's been 10 days already, if not 11, since you know, he was murdered. The assemblyman was murdered in his home. An old Papa's wish: I want to die on a mattress before I die. Oh. And this story, the UK Health Minister tests positive for coronavirus. Don't panic. Deputy Health Minister urges as Burkina Faso confirms coronavirus case. Victor Smith breaks silence on his dismissal as Rawlings' spokesperson. Education in Ghana needs serious attention, according to an NGO. 27 killed by alcohol poisoning in Iran, trying to protect themselves from coronavirus. And then Ugandans arrested for giving fake coronavirus vaccine. A very good morning to you, Mr. Robert Coleman. Stay with us. We've got plenty of sport
did you do the thing
to
about
share. I did. Mr. Salifu Combat's message. Yes, I did. Stay with us. We've got sport coming your way. It's midweek, so we've got AM Business after sports.
We have to look at what's going to happen here on the local scene. Matches in the Ghana Premier League, match day 13. The top liner will be at the Accra Stadium. That's the Manchester Derby between Accra Heart of Oak and Accra Great Olympics. Well, ahead of that game, my colleague George Adi Jr. has put together a special feature looking at the Manchester Derby. Enjoy.
ake olie ba park here nya ofia krado wolo ankechi keniye otanya mese Oli agosu.
So this is Accra Great Olympics, the Wonder Club. Oli Dade, Oli Bobo, Oli Kozokos, Oli Chuliju. Oli, it wasn't good for me last season. And I have to tell you that here at Accra Great Olympics, the action in the stands is as much as the action on the pitch. However, their return to the Ghana Premier League has seen more action in the boardroom than critically on the pitch or in the stands. After 13 match days in the Ghana Premier League, Accra Great Olympics have changed close to 4 coaches. We're here to find out from the set of fans what they make of the situation and try to reason with coaches who have handled Accra Great Olympics this season. The big question is, can Accra Great Olympics find the way anywhere at the top of the Ghana Premier League?
Ghana Premier League champions in 1970 and 1974. FA Cup winners in 1975, 1983 and 1995. Semi-finalists in the 1971 CAF Champions League, coupled with mesmerizing displays stringed with unbelievable results in the past, is enough to end the tag the Wonder Club. Oli Dade fans hate to share the city of Accra with their noisy neighbors Hearts of Oak and are always hopeful about any campaign irrespective of their form.
Hey, Oli Dade. Hey, oh. This is New Olympics. As you people are here, you have been seeing, we have a lot of players, both senior and juvenile players. And you know, as things go on now, the team, we are not playing now. We are not playing our league now. So it's play and build. Playing and build. And everybody will see New Olympics this season. That's play and build system. The more we play, the more we build. No relegation. No relegation at all. Forget about relegation.
Back in Ghana's elite division, after Congress of the Ghana Football Association accepted a proposal to increase the number of clubs in the Premier League to 18. Life though in the league has not been smooth sailing. After 13 match days, Oli Dade are 15th on the Premier League log, having won just 4 games, lost 7 and drawn 2, accumulating 14 points in the process. What's worrying is having had 4 faces manning the dugout this early in the season. Coach Isaac Niama, after a long pre-season with the club, left post because he failed to meet the club licensing requirements. Coach Prince Kofi took over the reins, but after 7 games in charge, resigned unceremoniously. Well, Kofi's record read 2 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. Enough to get a fan worried. In came Seth Hoffman, who left the job after 1 win, a draw and 2 losses in 4 games. Coach Arno Walker is in charge at the moment and has a win and a loss in 2 Premier League games and has managed an FA Cup win. But do the fans think their passion has come at a huge cost at times?
Even though those who are in their EPL itself, they are struggling, which is a crowd of hope. You understand me? They are struggling. Kotoko self, they are struggling. Everybody is struggling in their team. Although they are in the division premier before Olympics, but themselves they are struggling. No, how can you play 13 matches? You, George, you self-imagine 13 matches. How many win we win? 13 matches. Then when you win 2 or 3, then you draw about 2. Then they score you all. When they score you all, do you want to tell us that we have to laugh with the coach? If you don't, Chelsea said, my own teachers, if the coach mess up, they'll go. The whole England, who sack coach more than the Chelsea?
Few points above the relegation zone and are seriously threatened. But the belief of the Oli Dade fan simply defies logic. The Accra Derby may provide comfort or misery, but be sure of one thing. Great Olympics fans live the mantra, never say die until the bones are rotten, than the true owners.
We want to be in the top 4. You see, some of the radio stations says, Olympics, we come and we go. No, we are not going this time. We want to prove to them, you people, that we are not going. We are not going, we are staying. Olympics is from Burkina Faso or is from China. Or Olympics from, how do you call it, coronavirus country. Or the coronavirus catch Olympics. That's why we cannot play in the Premier League.
All right, nice feature there by my colleague Georgia Jr. So Accra Hearts of Oak drew their last game at the Accra Stadium for Olympics. They went away and won by 2-0. So we'll see how that will go tonight. But that's one of many matches that will be played in the Premier League match day, 30 midweek games. Other games to come, but join us at 2. On Sports Today, we'll bring you the full fixtures plus highlights of matches that were played in the UEFA Champions League. So for more sports news, get to the Majoy online sports page. My name is Benedict Tosu. Thanks so much for your company.
Welcome to our business segment on the AM show, which it comes your way every Wednesday. It's brought to us by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Designed to kickstart their intensive 10-month journey, the first market research tour took this year's contestants of the Cosmos Agritech Challenge to 5 regions where they learned about the challenges facing the country's agricultural sector. During the 10-day tour, the agri-techies who were drawn from all over Ghana interacted directly with farmers and regional agri-businesses. Here are highlights of the Eastern Region tour.
Day 1 of the Eastern Region tour started at Nsawam Adesu, where HPW Fresh and Dry Limited is located. The company, which exports over 90% of its products to the European market, is known for processing fresh fruits like coconut, mango and pineapple into tasty dry fruit products. The agri-techies were taking on a tour of their facility to make them better understand their mode of operation. This was after a welcome address and a brief presentation of their business and some challenges facing the company by management. Sales and Retail Production Manager Deborah Stocks gave the new cohort some tips in the food processing value chain, especially in the areas of marketing, where her outfit, according to her, is open to suggestions on reaching the local market.
People have a lot of ideas because they are not corrupted by already all the companies that maybe sometimes we also destroy the ideas. So I believe they should take this idea and really use it and use the challenge that you are offering to structure the ideas. So to mean not only to have an idea, but to come up with solutions on how to implement them and how to go about it from a marketing or a sales or a production perspective. I mentioned the majority of our products are exported, and that is where we are very successful, I believe. But on the Ghanaian market, we have started, and I think we are still trying hard to improve, but there's a lot of improvement to be done. So I would say the stage of our company when it comes to promoting local products is much more at the beginning than when it comes to export. And I believe all these people, they have a lot of ideas, maybe some have a marketing background, some know how to get new products on the market, and that is exactly where they can come in. So maybe the challenges we have faced to promote our products on the local market, maybe they can help us to overcome them and really see how dried fruit in itself, but then also our brand, the Golden Fruit brand, we can position it better and increase the sales here on the local market. And I believe once we have a stable basis or even growth on the local market, it will give us as a company also a good basis to explore other African markets, because maybe some African markets might be similar.
The team then journeyed further south to the Oil Palm Research Institute of Ghana at Kusi, also in the Eastern Region. The facility is one of Ghana's 13 institutes of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. The center, which was established in 1964, carries out research on oil palm and coconut, offering backstopping for oil palm and coconut industries. Like the other companies previously visited, then came the time these participants collect some valuable insights as they engaged directly with management of a center. They were theoretically taken through some key areas of the oil palm and coconut value chain, from the nursery stage through to production and then value addition. Some key challenges facing oil palm and coconut farmers were also highlighted. Felix Swansea and Dr. Frederick Sapon are research scientists and head of value addition division, respectively, at OPIR.
If you take the production, something like seedling production, and a young person can just go to become a nursery operator, in which the person can develop the oil palm and coconut seedlings and be able to supply to all parts of the oil palm growing areas in Ghana. You can supply to companies, you can supply to individuals. And basically, since the oil palm is a growing industry, more people are getting into it. There will be a demand for planting material. Therefore, developing a business around seedling production will be very important for these our young farmers. Also, labor is becoming a problem in terms of maintaining the oil palm farms. And for that matter, some people have taken the initiative to try to come up with maintenance company. We call them service providers. So what they do is they go to the farm, they can weed the farm, they can maintain the farm, they do the harvesting for you at a cost. So you can be a farmer now who might not even use a cutlass on your farm, but you have all your farm well managed by a company. These young guys can also take advantage of it depending on how they come up with their pricing and contract terms with the farmers.
For the coconuts, there are a lot of opportunities. For example, currently most of them, all the companies that they are into coconut production are exporting, or are importing, sorry. So we need value addition by setting up our processes. And so I gave them a fair idea how much it's going to cost for them to set up a processing machine and also what to do and how to go about it. When you want to go into value addition, you need a food scientist at least. So people should start looking at people so that they can do a QC or a quality control management in order to improve the quality so that you can even think of export. Most of the production that we have here, a lot of people do it manually. They don't meet a certain standard, so it's being rejected on the international market. If you are targeting exportation, then we should also look at that aspect.
Business at the end of a day's tour, some participants said the tour was an eye-opener and will be an enabler to tackle some challenges facing the country's agricultural sector.
It's been great for me. It's been a great experience for me. Actually, I found out that there is a dominant challenge between these two different companies. They're actually having problems with labor. And I find that to be pretty amazing. Although they like cheap labor, I believe that in a way they can also factor on the fact that skilled labor can also increase their yield and increase whatever they do, because they also bring out their expertise in the area in which they are in.
Today I learned coconuts can be used for several other things, like their value chain is really long and very viable. So personally I'm thinking about going into the milk production and also how to use coconuts for maybe flakes or to produce other food products for the market. Yeah, for HPW I learned they are doing almost a lot of things. They are doing everything. So I was thinking of maybe getting a market for them. They mentioned that they don't really have the Ghanaian market here, so I'm thinking of maybe talking to the bigger supermarkets, then try to connect them as to be the middleman for them, and creating a business for myself as well.
Right, okay, that's great. Thank you.
Our next stop was the Achimkusi Palm Oil, a manually operated palm oil factory. This was for participants to have a better understanding of challenges the local women and farmers face in the manual palm oil extraction process. Although the small factory employs about 30 indigents, including farmers, their activities like chopping of the oil palm fruit, sieving of palm kernel fruit, boiling until extraction are all done manually. According to Abna Kitwa, who manages the place, their job is hit with major challenges including transportation, production and marketing. We then visited a much more advanced oil palm processing factory. the Alphos processing factory. Here, most of the activities are done with the help of machines. The factory processing oil palm fruits into palm oil and the kernels into palm kernel oil, mostly exported to Nigeria and other neighboring countries. The next stop was at the Forest and Horticultural Crop Research Center, also at Kede in the Eastern region. The center has a mandate of becoming a leading humid tropical research enclave, providing teaching and extension of forest-based crops like rubber, plantain, mango, oil palm, and a host of other crops including vegetables. Senior Research Fellow Francis Collison Bentum welcomed the team and gave a presentation on the history of the center, crops that are cultivated and researched, and most importantly, the challenges facing the center. The next day, the participants divided into teams visited the rubber plantation, where they were taken to the nursery, taken through a practical presentation of a budding process, and later to a mature rubber farm. There was also an avenue to have a feel of numerous opportunities in the rubber value chain. Samuel Kwame Amwako is a principal research assistant.
A lot of things. So currently we have applied poultry manure. Poultry manure contains 13 macro and micro nutrients. It also releases the nutrients slowly compared to the artificial ones like NPK. When it comes to even the production itself, there are things we can automate if possible. Budding currently is done manually. So if there are ways of improving upon the existing practice of isolating your bud, getting your knife, getting a tape, if all these processes are cumbersome, if there are easiest ways or technological ways of improving upon this, it's well welcome. So it's an opportunity people can, explore, and then let's see how best we come out of that. Even in tapping, elsewhere in Asia, people are automating the tapping using drills. Some have even manufactured plastic tapping knives instead of the metal one we are using. So these are opportunities in the production sector that we can look at.
We also visited their fully automated avirodome at the Center for the Cultivation of Vegetables. This perhaps will help participants grow an interest in green farming. Some participants again shared their experience.
It has been a nice experience actually. This is my first time being here. I didn't even know that there's a place like this here in Ghana, but with the support of KIC, I've been here, and then it's a nice experience. And then I think yesterday we were at rubber plantations, and I learned a lot there. And I realized there's a lot of opportunities we could tap. So it's a matter of time, like understanding whatever that we are doing here, and then having time to think through whatever is going here, and then you see the real opportunity to get into it. So.
In all, the team visited 3 companies and 2 agriculture-based institutes in the Eastern region, an integral component of the entire Cosmos Innovation Challenge program, which exposed the agri-techies to key players involved in the entire value chain. Henry Kwesi Bedus reports for Joy News.
And the challenge is on. It promises to be very competitive. Watch out for all the highlights, all the backstories here on Joy News. And that's it really for AM Business this week. Roland Walker is on standby. He's going to run us through what is to come here on our show.
Yeah. Definitely. Mamavi, let me just run you through what the latest incidental cases are in relation to the coronavirus outbreak. And we do know that in country, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, through the chief of staff, they have given a directive indicating that Well, we don't need to have officials traveling. So there's a travel ban for all government officials, and that also will run through all ministry departments and agencies. But we want to give you a comprehensive highlight as to what really is happening across the world in relation to this outbreak. And in total, we have about total confirmed cases and total confirmed cases. So we do have 119,132 confirmed as it is, and the deaths also indicating what they are. But the mainland China, even though the infection rate have been dropping compared to what the situation was in January, it still stands at just the 80,000 mark. Outside China, though, it is Italy, which is topping with the numbers in excess of some 10,000, followed by Iran. And then we have the Republic of Korea, that'll be South Korea, subsequently. Outside those Middle Eastern and Asian regions, we do have France topping with some 1,784 cases in Europe. They're followed closely by Spain and partly Mediterranean sections, also indicating some increasing cases. But Germany, a powerhouse in Europe, a big economy, contributing significantly to the European Union and elsewhere in the world. They've recorded 1,565, and the United States is also climbing the scales. They have just 37 above the 1,000 mark. But look, there are other notable countries that we can make mention of. We have the United Kingdom, which we're already being told, confirmed, the junior health minister has tested positive for coronavirus, and within the period of the last 24 hours had attended a number of events in which even Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, had hosted alongside some other important dignitaries. But across Europe, we have all these been affected, and as a result, in the sporting fields, all matches and fixtures within UEFA and many other leagues have been brought to a halt. And you can also know that these are some of the relevant areas. So we will try as much as possible and bring you a case-by-case basis, country-by-country basis, for you to get to know what the related issues are. And when we go to the UK, the health minister, junior health minister Nadine Dorries, has tested positive. Now we scroll up and just the latest update about 30 minutes ago, and there's a picture and to read more. It's indicating that Ms. Dorries, the first MP to test positive, says she'd been taking all the advised precautions after finding out and has been self-isolating at home. That's what we call the self-quarantine. This comes as a sixth person died from the virus in the UK. It brings the total cases currently at the number pegged 382. The latest person to die was a man in his early 80s who had some underlying health conditions. Now, this is important because if already you have some predisposed symptoms, it would also mean that your immune system is very weak. And it also predisposes you to coronavirus infections, but ultimately there's wilting in that sense subsequently. But look, in country, this is what the Ghana Health Service is doing, and they've given us the guidelines, the Ghana Outbreak Management Update, all up there. Now, these are the numbers that you need to call, and the numbers on the screens currently will just increase the font sizes so that you get to know what the screen is. And COVID-19 Ghana's Outbreak Management Update. Let's go up, and these are the numbers that you can call to get all the latest updates. And it's part of our complementary efforts for the Ghana Health Service and for this whole outbreak. we'll just go through the do's and don'ts, what you should know, what are the related issues of coronaviruses in terms of the categories, and how this strain is a bit different, and how various scientists and health experts around the world, indeed some of the biggest countries who contribute to the global economy, have had challenges figuring it out, how it spreads, signs and symptoms, prevention and treatment, and they frequently ask questions. There's also a latest situational report, all from the Ghana Health Service. But let's look at what are the viruses and all the things. But when we go to the Vatican, we have COVID-19. All the updates are saying that Vatican closing its St. Peter's Basilica to tourists. This is very important because this is one of the biggest revenue streams for the city of Vatican, the Vatican City, and also to Italy as well. So while the Vatican is gaining directly, the rest of the Italian economy is also a gainer when it comes to this. And it says that the square will remain closed to tourists and guided tours until April 3. This is instructive because knowing that this is a communique that's or a press release coming from the Holy See Press Office, the Pope's office, it speaks to the related issues, because as of Tuesday, the Vatican Post Office mobile unit in the square was shut down, along with 2 other sales points of the Vatican Publishing House. Now, the Vatican's mess hall, and for many of you who are Catholics have visited this place, would also get to know that the doors usually are open to employees, etc. And these are parts of the sights and sounds when you get to visit the Vatican City in Rome. But it's affecting many other sections of our life. And in football, we have La Liga, the French club matches, and the Barca Champions League game behind closed doors currently. UEFA also has put a number of fixtures on hold as well. And this inserted picture in the match that Barcelona drew with Italy's Napoli, featuring the maestro himself, Lionel Messi, all putting these discussions into perspective. And La Liga announced its ruling will affect the next 2 rounds of fixtures, while the French league said fans will be banned until the April 15 period. It means that no fan will be able to enter a match or a stadium or a venue until April 15. Now, April 15 is just not the ceiling. By the time of April 15, they would take a relook at the measures or the guidelines or the protocols that have been adopted so far. And then subsequently, if the situation they feel is not under control, then they will reinstitute another measure. That is what the World Health Organization says countries across the world need to take a look at. Here in Ghana, we already do know that the president, through a formal communique from the Office of the Chief of Staff, has banned any formal travel of all appointees. And we're thinking it would extend to various officials across the spectrum of ministry, departments, and agencies. Now, currently in Germany, we have Borussia Mönchengladbach's Bundesliga tie against Cologne on Wednesday night. Also will take place behind closed doors, as were 5 of the 9 top-flight matches over the weekend. Now, this is just a curtain raiser to what we should expect as we do the discussions right here on the AM show, because we need to look at how this is affecting many other related sectors in Ghana. Because already up north, we have Burkina Faso bordering our northern borders. They have recorded a case, and then we also do have Republic of Togo also recording a case. And so we're just sandwiched among them. because on the side we have Cote d'Ivoire, but apart from the health service and all its indicators, we need to put all these into perspective. How is this affecting the economy in a way? And we have officials of the Ghana Union of Traders Association going to speak to us, and Ben Yeboah, he is a welfare secretary for the association. And the reason why we're putting a focus on the traders, they're just not ordinary traders. Remember, they are big importers. They import and spend volumes of money or amount of money in spare parts importation, vehicle importation, and subsequently other correlated businesses that they undertake, especially at the retail side. They import and do the retailing and the wholesaling as well. That has a significant impact on the commerce on that travel route, especially through the Accra, Dubai, Gwangju route. And then when you have to take into cognizance the European routes, Accra, Ankara, it depends on which of the cities in Turkey, especially that they tend to bring many of these goods in. And so we'll speak to the Ghana Union of Traders Association. They will give us from their perspective how this is affecting them and how they've taken measures to make sure that even for the smaller number of their members who tend to travel through the airports, how they make sure they do the education in such a way that everything will be put into a better context. And that's why we'll also invite into the discussion a virologist with the University of Ghana, Kwame Seiko, helping us properly diagnose what the issues are with the virus, how this strain is a bit different, and how the various scientists and the laboratories across the world, in some of the most scientific countries across the globe, are trying to deal with this, whether vaccines so far have been secured or these investigations have also gotten to a certain herd. Then we'll get to know what the related issues are. So make sure you stick and stay. It's right here on the show. And I know that we'll all get educated. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. But moving on, what does 70 years mean to you? Now, old and past its prime, great question. Well, for us at Graphic, it's a celebration of 7 decades of excellence, rich experiences with some great achievement, and we've done it all together with you, our readers, advertisers, clients, agencies, partners, regulator, supplier, and the entire nation. Now, Graphic Communications Group Limited is 70 years, and we're thankful to God and to you. Now, make sure that you come and celebrate with us. Truth and advocacy, truth and accuracy every day. We have to bring you all the latest updates with the National Science and Maths Quiz. And this morning, Holy Trinity Senior High School has qualified for the first time in 7 years to the national competition. Now, they crashed their arch rival, Adan Senior High Technical School, as well as Kaneshi Senior High School and the Amasaman Senior High School in the 5th in the series of the Greater Accra Regional Qualifiers to end their long drought or absence. Hot Cars garnered some 38 points to beat off competition, and their campaign is still alive. Meanwhile, Tema Methodist Senior High would also make their first appearance at the national finals of the Science and Maths Quiz after pulling an impressive 50 points to cut short the campaign of their contenders. Well, we put all these in a great package for you.
For Holy Trinity SHS, it was a sweet revenge against Adan SHS as they stood between them and the national championship last year. They had a strategy to dominate the first 2 rounds, knowing very well the third and final round may not be that favorable. They worked according to their plan, leading the first round with 2 points margin from their closest contender, Adansco. The gap was even widened to 10 in the speed race.
End of the speed race. Kaneshi Senior High Technical School had 1 point. Amasaman Senior High School had 2 points. Presec Teshin had 9 points. Adan Senior High School had 16 points. And Holy Trinity Senior High School had 26 points.
Ada SHS never gave up as they maintained cool heads, answering the questions correctly in the penultimate round, whilst Holy Trinity SHS kept losing points.
Holy Trinity. The expression 2x plus 1 over the expression x squared plus 1. Go ahead, please.
And it's false.
That is wrong. Ada Senior High. The sum of the interior angles of an octagon is 4 times that of its exterior angles.
It's false.
That is correct. Holy Trinity. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is half that of its exterior angles.
True.
That is correct. An electric field cannot change the velocity of a charge.
It's false.
That is correct. Holy Trinity. The force exerted by an electric field on a charge is always in the direction of motion of the charge.
It's true.
That is wrong. Kaneshi. An electric field cannot exert a force on a stationary charge.
False.
That is correct. Amasaman. The force an electric field exerts on a charge equals the product of the charge and the electric field.
True.
That is correct. Third round. Kaneshi is owing me. Kaneshi Senior High Technical School has -1. Amasaman Senior High School has 15 points. Presec Teshin has 19 points. Adan Senior High School has 29 points. Still in the lead, Holy Trinity Senior High School has 33 points.
With the margin of lead reduced to 4, the contest was to be determined in the final round of riddles. Holy Trinity called the first shot, unraveling the first riddle on the first clue to make 5 points.
A nitrogen-containing substance. Yes. What?
Urea. Urea.
That is correct.
Amasaman SHS and Teshi Presby picked the remaining riddles to see hot cast through the national championship. The contestants are poised to make a difference at this year's championship.
This victory means a lot to us. It's been 7 years since we've qualified for the nationals. We thank the Almighty God. We also thank our teachers, especially Senior Mary, Sir Gabi, Sir Kote, and Sir Jeremiah. What we have to say is expect more from us. That's it. We had a lot of drills with other schools, and our senior helped us very well. We just expect the best. May the Lord's will be done.
They made a statement right from the beginning of the contest. They had come to win and would not settle for less. They answered their major questions and also capitalized on the bonus questions of their contenders to widen the gap.
Go ahead, my dear.
Half.
That is wrong. Tema.
1.
That is correct.
Tema Methodist SHS plan of taming their fierce competitor Ashaman SHS in the first round was on course, giving them an 11-point lead.
At the end of the first round, Osudoku Senior High School had 2 points. O'Reilly Senior High School had 7 points. Ashaman Senior High School had 11 points. and Tema Methodist Senior High School had 22 points.
They never lost focus, extending their lead during the speedway.
Tema.
2.
That is correct. Tema.
7 plus 4 root 3.
That is correct.
Just like the biblical John the Baptist, Great Medas brought on their chapel prefect, John Isiedu, to prepare the way for their first ever qualification for the national championship. Finally, the end of their long drought was confirmed with good news from the quiz mistress.
At the end of the contest, Osudoku Senior High School had 9 points. Ashaman Senior High School had 12 points. O'Reilly Senior High School had 20 points. Tema Methodist Senior High School, congratulations to you. You won the contest with 50 points. You are the highest so far for today. And so you have qualified for the next stage. That's the national competition.
The contestants are excited about the achievement, but mindful of the enormity of the task ahead.
Moving from here to here to compete, have trials. Indeed, when we came on stage, a little frightened came, but we took the courage to be confident, and then it went on successful. Only asking for the best from the Lord, and we are going to work harder so that at the end they will come out first.
Team lead for Tema Methodist SHS has a message to all their potential competitors at the Nationals.
So we took them through a lot of trial contests, and they proved that they were poised for action. We have booked our place to the national. We are going to compete with the bigger schools. We are no more afraid of any other school, and they should watch out for Medas, which is great.
Presec Beba, Achimota Beba, O'Reilly Beba, Infantipim Beba, Adisco Beba, Augusco Beba, Wana Beba, yeah, Wana Beba, yes, true. Wana Beba, Wana Beba, yes, true. Prempe Beba, Francis Beba, Holy Child Beba, West G Beba.
Getting heated with the National Science and Maths quiz. Congratulations to Tema Methodist. This is the first time, really. But just to remind you, the regional championship is on. We will see if Achimota School will be able to defend that trophy. They come up with Presec. And we will tell you all about it. But right now, let's talk about something big that will be happening on Joy News and Fact across the multimedia network. We'll officially launch the election headquarters. We have educative programs all towards ensuring an election full of ideas and devoid of insults. We're speaking to the head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, who joins us via Skype. Evans, good morning. Tell us about tomorrow. What exactly is happening?
Well, tomorrow we are officially launching our election headquarters. Election headquarters that many who follow us for the years know it's a description that we take on in the election and we'll be covering and bringing you on parallel election coverage. Tomorrow is going to be the massive launch of our coverage for this year's election. Now, there's something unique about what we're trying to do this particular launch, and that, I guess, will define what we do this year. We want this year's coverage to be and our objective and theme for the cabinet is having an informed election. That is our target, that is our ambition, and that is our objective. And that is why we are going to do this one from the Accra Central Business District in the forecourt of the AMA. So we're right there in touch with the people in the election, real people who this election will be making the decision.
But we're not doing this as Joy News, we're doing it with our sister stations as well. Explain that.
So, you know, when we say election headquarters, this is the entire multimedia. And the multimedia is a large entity. It includes Adom, it includes the part, it includes Inshira, it includes Lab, and Joy News, it helps them with the theme and focus in this summer. And so tomorrow, we're going to have two coordinated live events. Adom is going to have and Inshira works on the multimedia platform work there, and the Joy is representing the English will have theirs as well. We'll converge at the point, and we're going to be not only the central as in the AFA, it will be sandwiched, meaning we'll be more on the right and we'll the thematic on the left. I'm also going to be in Canton as well, where traders are, where sample the views there. And then we're going to go to Kumasi, where Lab and Inshira FM, and also Joy, we're also going to have a conversation about the plan A point of view. That is going to be where we go to Kantamalto. We'll have all these people, real people from the Central Business District. Again, we are going to bring political. We're not going to bring them in to talk and make promises. We're going to put them in touch, into connection and contact.
And Evans, just hold your thought right there. There's some breaks in that communication. I'm not sure you are exactly audible, so we're just going to work on that. We'll get back to Evans Mensah, who's the head of our political desk, talking about the launch of our election headquarters. That's our election coverage, is the entire multimedia group. In a bit, we will get to hear who can be there when we go to the AMA offices tomorrow, the main Accra office. And Evans Mensah is head of our political desk. There's more after this. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching the AM show. We're still telling you about our big launch of our election headquarters tomorrow, God willing. The head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, joins us this time via phone. Evans, you were telling us about the big launch tomorrow, the fact that it's on all multimedia platforms. But tell us who can be part of this event.
Everybody else can be part of the event. Once you are Ghanaian, you're voting age, and you are interested in what is going to happen this year on the basis of the issues, you're welcome to participate. And we're going to bring in a few individuals from the political parties to interact with you. You can ask them questions about the issues that matter for you, the issues on which you are going to be making your decision who to vote for. We're beginning a process where we want you to be informed before you make a choice on December 7th. And that is what this launch is supposed to indicate, is that we're going to interact with these political decision makers and those seeking our votes, so we can hear their ideas they have for us and for this year, so we can all make a decision. So whoever has to vote this year is interested in the politics of this country and the outcome of the December election, you want to be there and interact.
Okay, so remind us of the spots where we would be visible tomorrow.
So we're going to be the forecourt of the AMA, and that is the Accra Central Business District, right behind the Octagon. And that particular area, this is the Kimbu area. and you would have to your right will be the General Makala area. To your left will be the Tema station. Right there in the midst of that intersection, the traffic light there, under the trees in the forecourt of the AMA is where we're going to be based tomorrow from 6. We're going to be there from 5:30. We go on air 10 minutes to 6, and we are on air till 10 a.m. in the morning, getting the country talking about the election year, but most importantly, real issues that should drive the election campaign. We want to make this an issues-based campaign and an issues-based electioneering season, and that's what we want to do tomorrow.
Great. Evans, we're also going to be talking of some of our programming in this election year, correct?
Absolutely. You're known as to be your election headquarters on power and rival coverage in election year, but this year there's a few surprises and a few introductions, new things that we are going to try out this year, and we're going to be outdooring all that tomorrow. And so I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. You know us. I mean, there are usual ones like the election headquarters programs like Ballot Box, the shows like the caucuses will still play out, but we have a few new ones with electorate in mind that we've designed that we're going to be outdooring tomorrow.
Great. And Evans, remind us of the platforms again. We're going to be live tomorrow on what particular platforms?
We're going to be live on the Joy News channel, on Joy FM, on Love FM in Kumasi, and that is for the English channels, on My Joy Online as well, YouTube, Facebook, name it. And then we're going to be live also for our key local language platforms on Adom, Inshra, Asempa. Hey, it's also going to take snippets of this. So if you are an entertainment person, you love entertainment, we're not going to leave you out, because you're going to have people like Uncle Ebowai come in, do his conversation, but we're going to fuse it into it. I mean, this year, every aspect of our life is going to be affected. I want to represent that tomorrow.
All right, great. So Evans, we'll leave it here. We'll see you tomorrow at the AMA head office when we launch officially election headquarters. That's head of our political desk, Evan Spencer, telling us about the big launch tomorrow, which will also be live on Adom TV. So watch out all of our platforms and on social media as well. Pass through if you can. So Adom is going to be at LECMA, and the Joy brands will be at the AMA head office. That's where we're going to be. So you can pass through any of the places. Some of our colleagues will also be in the various centers. So for instance, we will be at Kantamanto as well. So look out for us. Make sure you're part of this big conversation. It's all about this year's election. Stay with us here on the AM show. We'll bring you some show business. It's Becky with a lot of things happening in show business.
Good morning, welcome to Showbiz here on the AM show. Now, Ghana's first and only alternative rock band, Dark Sabbath, says after 5 years of being in the music industry, they feel more accepted by Ghanaians. The Ego B hitmakers, in a recent interview with Joy Prime, said they are very excited about the show of love by their patrons and a promise to give Ghanaians the best.
The concept has been practical. We've told people that when the band is accepted, we start revealing ourselves. So we're in the dark. You know, it's a concept that stands for the deprived in society, and we're trying to take our destinies into our own hands, you know, through music. So we have a very practical, dramatic representation and enactment of that. So we transitioned from Black with Red, which was like a funeral song, or we're skeleton from the graves, and now we're part of society. So we're white. And sometimes black too, but we don't do the red no more.
Okay, so it means that there's going to be a stage in your performance life where all this will go off. Is that
not exactly. The concept is built on masquerades. You know, so it's going to get to a point where it's not just skeleton, but it will be other mask, you know, concepts that are evolving. Now we have characters. You know, and this...
It means the mask is never going off.
No, we're masquerades.
You will grow with flesh, but the mask will...
You know, you can't have Kakamotobi without the mask, you know what I'm saying?
And another thing too, when you came up, a lot of people were chastising you. Some churches, some pastors say you're devilish, your song is inspired by the devil himself. Do you feel a sense of acceptance by the society now?
I mean, we're in a superstitious society. Weeks ago, a pastor declared some gospel artist girl and her management and came to apologize. You know what I'm saying? That should tell you that there are a lot of the fake prophets in our environment. And everybody knows it's a silent secret. Because so we're not faced by all those PR gimmicks that people are trying to. We're young Ghanaian artists who are evolving an African brand and a concept. So it's safe to say that, yeah, people have accepted us.
Rock is not African.
Rock is African.
Okay, educate me, please.
You see, the Western part of the world keeps naming things. You know, Fela went to learn jazz, came and put an African, Afrocentric sound in it. We have Afrobeat. You get what I mean? If you know the history of rock bands, they pick elements from Africa. Music is African. You know, and if you look at Ayisoba and Co., they play these riffs, you know, on their guitars, performing for hours and more expression and emotion. You just have to put it on the white man's guitar, and you're talking rock.
Music festival has been postponed due to the corona outbreak. Coachella was set to take place next month in the California desert, with Rage Against the Machine and Frank Ocean among the headliners. Some Ghanaian celebrities, in view of this, have joined in the campaign to educate people against the COVID-19. The latest to join is highlight musician Kofi Kinata.
Nobody's ready. Like, there's no country who is ready. Nobody's ready. We don't wish for coronavirus or anything like that. It has cost us a lot, and we had shows around US and other places, and it had to be cancelled. Some of them had to be hold on for some 1 or 2, and we don't like it. You know, China is more or less like the life support of the world, and when China is down like that, it will affect a lot of things. So we don't wish for any coronavirus.
Any advice, because we know that this virus, when you touch somebody, when you get in contact with somebody, that's when you contract it. And here is the case: you have a lot of fans. Everybody will want to touch you.
Yeah. we pray it doesn't come to Ghana, because we pray it doesn't come to Ghana. And it's not coming any moment from now. It's not here, so there's no need for any panic or anything like that. We don't want to cause any fear and panic. It's not here, so for now we live in our life. For a healthy living, we wash your hands. I learned we shouldn't be touching our faces when our hands are not washed, and one of those things. And I'm telling them it's not here, so there's no need for fear and panic. Yeah.